Hello, everybody. How you doing? It's Michael McPherson again, coming to you on Black History Month. Today is February 6th, and this is my sixth post about Black history. Today, I wanted to start out by giving some respect and a shout out to some history that was made yesterday in Black history, which is also U.S. American history. It was made in the entertainment industry, and I'm sure most of you already know. I want to give respect to Beyonce, who now holds the record for the most Grammy Awards at 29. She received her Grammys yesterday to surpass this guy named George Salty, who was a classic conductor who held the record at 28. And also, along with that, Beyonce tied her husband, Jay-Z, for the most nominations. So together, they're an amazing power couple in the music industry, as you know, having a great impact on society in general. And Jay-Z also has quite a few Grammys himself at 21. So together, they both together have 50 Grammys. And we have to give a big shout out to Beyonce for the incredible achievement. And also, I didn't see the Grammys last night, but I understand that the first award that Beyonce won, she wasn't there for. So someone else had to accept the award, and it was Nile Rodgers, now Gregory Rogers Jr. And I want to give a shout out to him. He's 70 years old, and he's one of my favorite artists from the past. When I was growing up, he and a guy named Bernard Edwards started this group called Chic, and I was looking that up. Rogers has written, produced, and performed on records that have sold more than 500 million albums and 75 million singles worldwide. Now, Rogers Chic was an amazing group, had an impact on American music. And I just wanted to give a shout out to him because I respect him and love Chic so much. Other than the fact that Nile Rodgers accepted the award for Cuff It, Beyonce won a Grammy for Cuff It, one of her singles off of the Renaissance album. Rogers is also playing on that album. He's a guitarist, and he also has some writing credits. And again, I think that's amazing. At 70 years old, he continues to do what he does best, and he's playing with one of the best, if not the best, artists around right now. All right. So we're going to turn our attention to another woman from Black history, U.S. American history, in Mary Church Terrell. So to talk about Miss Terrell, I'm returning to my primary source for Black history for this series, 366 Days of American History, Affirmation. And like I like to say, I love this, too much history for just 1 month. Black history is American history. It's not just for February. If you want to learn about Black history, you're learning American history. And that's something that you should just know if you're an American, or if you're a U.S. American, I should say, because there's South America and North America. So if you're a U.S. American, for sure, you should learn about U.S. history. And as part of that, you should learn about Black history and all the different people that are here in the United States of America. So today we're going to talk about, like I said, Mary Church Terrell. She's an amazing woman who I'm sure impacted Beyonce in one way or another, if no other way, just by setting a standard of excellence. She is a person that I've known about for some time, and certainly set a standard of excellence for women and helping move women ahead in general. Black women specifically. So Mary Church Terrell was an educator, an author, and a civil rights leader. Born on September 9th, 1863 in Memphis, Tennessee, a place I lived. And we all know it's going through a hard time right now. I love Memphis. And Memphis has a history of people standing up for what's right. And attended Antioch College Model School, forerunner of the nation's kindergarten program. Hear that? Oberlin College, she got a BA in 1884 and an AM in 1888, an instructor at Wilberforce University, 1885 to 1887, began teaching Latin at M Street High School, now Dunbar High School in Washington, D.C. in 1887. President of the Bethel Literary and Historical Association, 1892 to 1893, appointed to the Board of Education in Washington, D.C. in 1895 to 1901 and 1906 to 1911, reportedly the nation's first woman school board member. Isn't that something? That's right. A Black woman, the nation's first woman school board member. Formed the Colored Women's League of Washington, D.C., charter member and president of the National Association of Colored Women in 1896 to 1901, International Council of Women of Darker Races, second vice president, charter member of the NAACP, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, in 1909. And that's why I know of her, because I was deeply involved in the NAACP in St. Louis, and I learned a lot about its history. Gained membership in the Washington chapter of the American Association of Universities in 1949, which ended the policy of excluding African Americans. Chairman of the newly organized Coordinating Committee for the Enforcement of the D.C. Anti-Discrimination Laws in 1953, which led to the integration in the public accommodation of the nation's capital. She died on July 24th in 1954 in Annapolis, Maryland. So just wanted to let you know who that was. Mary Church Terrell. She's an amazing woman. It was one of the ancestors, one of my ancestors as a Black person, one of all of our ancestors as a person who helped build this society we live in today to make it better. This is the reason that we should know about Black history in general as U.S. history. So usually at this point, not say usually, I've only been doing this 6 days, right? So this is the 6th day. I go into what happened on whatever date it is. So what happened on February 6th. And I'm going to do that, but I'm not going to read so much from my main source again, which is 366 days of history, American history. I'm going to speak to you very briefly about something that was a pretty big deal that happened on February 6, 1820. That's the day that the first group of formerly enslaved people in the United States resettled in Africa. They departed from New York on that day. An organization called the American Colonization Society, with funding from Congress, had been established to return them to the U.S. colony of Liberia in West Africa. This is from the education.nationalgeographic.org. Kidnapping and enslaving people from Africa had been abolished in the United States in 1808, though the practice of keeping people and their children enslaved was still legal in many states. People believed that African Americans could experience a greater freedom and opportunity back in Africa. Many people believed that. So there were a number of people who became part of the colonization movement for people to go back to Africa. And, you know, that continued through Marcus Garvey, clearly in the 1900s, and number of people continuing on today still believe that Africans, people of African descent, people of the African diaspora that live in the United States should leave and go back to Africa. And my feelings personally is people should do what they feel is best for themselves. I can understand why some people believe that Black people can't live here in the United States with white people, because look what continues to happen. But me personally, I'm going to continue to struggle and support my African brothers and sisters on the continent of Africa and my brothers and sisters who live here in the United States, because I see myself as a U.S. American citizen, and I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm not going to give the white people who want to try to tell me to go back to Africa the satisfaction of me leaving. I don't plan to do that. Oh, well, I do also want to tell you that there are two people, a number of people who were born today, of course, but there are two people I wanted to tell you about. One of them was Bob Marley, legendary reggae singer. He was born in St. Anne, Jamaica in 1945. He died in 1981. We all know Bob Marley, an amazing person. And then also in 1956, Robert Townsend, actor, producer, writer, and director. He was born in Chicago, Illinois. Just wanted to make sure you all knew that. Yeah, so there we go. February 6th, Black history, U.S. American history. I appreciate you tuning in. Check me out tomorrow. Power to the people, power to the peaceful.